Hello everyone and welcome to the OVRC, welcome to the GT4 Series at Laguna Seca. I am joined once again by Erwin.
Hello everyone.
And you join us at the end of practice of the final round of the GT4 Season 1. Well, it's actually been a surprisingly good season outside of, the first race being so wet that it was impossible to see. Just before we get quickly into qualifying, which is coming up next, I think it might be worth running quickly over the standings. We head into the last round.
Yep, so leading the championship right now is Mike Stoffmill with 364 points. We know Mike won't be here today to defend his championship. So it will be interesting to see what happens in that regard. Second is Marcus Lawrence with 324 points. And in third is John Dalton with 272. Followed by Jordan Grant-Smith with 224. And then closely behind in fifth is Tom Jensen with 216. Then leading the team championship is Virtual Dice by TX3 with 364. Followed by WND Motorsports with 312. Then in third we have Baguette Box Racing with 247. In fourth we have GS Racing with 224. And then in fifth we have Please No Rain with 216.
Of course, if you want to see the full standings, they're on the website.
Yep. Forgot to mention that, so thanks.
So, once again, John Dalton are leading the pack out the pit lane. It seems to be all season long, he's always one of the first cars out.
Yeah.
So we will be watching on board with him for the first lap, after obviously doing the out lap. One thing to know about the points championship. There is a drop round. Now, it won't... So obviously I'll be taking account after the championship's done, so if you want to know the family, let's check the website after a few days, once shielding's done. But it may change the standing a bit, it may not. It may just make everything exactly the same, so it'll be interesting to see how that affects. Obviously, first series with one. We have run anyway.
Well, we know with this round at least, Max Stoffmill and Marcus Lawrence will have both missed a round, so the drop rounds will not affect their points totals.
So that'll be interesting to see how that goes. So, John Dalton starts his lap and heads down to the turn 2, the Andretti hairpin. Double apex here, quite tricky corner actually, it's about the exit speed a lot. Get around here, go to the other side of the track, head into turn 3. Under, well, the Cooper Tires Bridge. It still is the Cooper Tires Bridge. Some of this track has changed. Obviously, this track used to be known as WeatherTech. Not WeatherTech, Mazda Laguna Seca. Not WeatherTech. WeatherTech's the name now. So, a quick notable straight as you start to turn 5, which begins, well, the climb up the hill. And I'll go up there. There's a bit of straight here. Tap the brakes into turn 6, get the car around, avoid the inside curb, that will send you off quite far into the wall. You got the steepest part of the track going up the hill here towards turn 7. And then onto the most famous corner of the track, the corkscrew. Get the car around, you want to sort of straight line as much as possible. Followed by a quick roll out down towards turn 9, which is quite a tricky corner again, so quite a lot of lines through it. Once you hit that, you get to turn 10. Avoid the inside curb. Again, that will send your car flying. Try and use the brakes for the final corner. Get the car around quite a slow corner. Roll up at an exit. And that will be a lap of Laguna Seca. As John Dalton will cross the line now and set a 1:31.4. The rest of the car start.
Much more cars coming across the line now. Ryan Mawson just taking first position, with Thomas Jensen in second and Jordan Wansink in third.
We'll see how qualifying will go. Obviously, it's dry conditions right now. Track is 29 degrees, which shows you how much more California is compared to the rest of Europe. Plus, it is 4 PM, so the track will be almost track all season as Mark Whitford crossed the line. Sorry.
So Marcus Lawrence, who is second in the championship, is currently in P6. So he'll have some improving to do if he wants to try and get pole position. He is improving by quite a bit right now. So it seems like that was just a safe banker lap.
A lot of the top runners are improving right now. I see a sea of green on the timing tower, with one bit of red to ruin it, as Sobek is currently losing time this lap. John Dalton will cross the line again now. He's half a second up, so let's see if he can continue us through the final corner. Does seem to actually just improve a bit on the exit there, so let's see what happens as he'll cross the line now, and we'll go provisional pole 1:30.7.
Marcus Lawrence is nearly 2 seconds up, so let's see what happens when he crosses the line. Currently P7, he goes to P1 with a 1:29.8, 7 tenths ahead of Thomas Jensen.
Yeah, so everyone set the time. Mawson crosses the line, he's still 0.435 off that time. So it'll be interesting to see how this all pans out. Marcus Lawrence setting quite a hard benchmark into the 29s. Will anyone be able to counter it? Grant Smith currently setting a time right now. He's awfully off the pace from his last lap, so this lap will be a bit more representative. He got pole position at Hungaroring. Can he do it again now at Laguna? Across the line now and sets himself 7th fastest with 31.2.
Thomas Jensen on a big improvement right now, 6 tenths up on his delta. John Dalton also improving and getting closer towards the end of his lap as he goes down the corkscrew now. So a lot of the top runners improving right now. As John Dalton heads into the final corner.
I can imagine the track state will probably get the track will get faster as they go out a bit more as people learn the limits of the track. John Dalton crossed the line.
Yep, just moved up to P2. Thomas Jensen crossing the line shortly. See where he goes. He goes into P2. Less than 2 tenths away from Marcus Lawrence.
Who improved the last lap, which is why the gap would normally have overtaken him there. Lawrence has extended his lead a tiny bit as he's down the pit lane now. So once again, everyone's got the bars increased again.
Also just moved into P6 as Mark Whitford heads around the final corner and will cross the line pretty soon. Phantom Molliet just moved into P7. Let's see where Whitford can go. He goes up to P6.
Grant Smith jumps straight above him for 30.6.
James Butler moving up a position to 14th.
Wilson on quite a bit of an improvement right now. He starts his climb up the hill now towards the corkscrew. 0.3 up right now. Was 0.4 just a bit a second ago. Can he keep his momentum going now into the corkscrew and down he goes. It's now towards the final corner. He also Nygaard, Harkin, Falkenstein, and James Butler, all improvement times as well. So lots of people have still got time out there. Brian Mawson will cross the line now and moves up to P2.
Nygaard about to cross the line, moves up to P5. Jordan Grant Smith on a smaller improvement right now as he gets toward the end of his lap. Looks like he could gain a couple of positions. So let's see where he goes when he crosses the line. Moves to P5.
P5 is still 0.6 off the current pole time, so this gap between the top three. And so Thomas Jansen goes off the track at turn 6, and that's going to invalidate his current lap he was on.
Dalton and Mawson are both on laps, but they're not improving.
Wanzig is improving right now by 2 tenths.
Right, Wanzig gets into the final corner now. As you can see, I think that's Dalton pulling into the pit lane. And Wanzig moves up 1 position to P6.
Yep. So 10 minutes of qualifying to go, and I think a few people are gone back to the pit lanes, got new tyres on, and coming back out again.
Yep, Thomas Jansen just heading back out.
A minute across the line improves his time. So far, only 1 car has yet to set a time yet. Andy McRae.
Jordan Grant Smith heads out of the pit lane. So he's going to start another attempt. Marcus Lawrence just started a new timed lap. Jordan Wanzig getting towards the end of his lap now, is a few tenths up. Let's see what happens when he crosses the line. 4 tenths up on his delta right now. And he will stay in P6.
Yeah,
as that lap got invalidated.
believe all the top runners are currently on outlaps right now, or not improving, as everyone's got 32.7 as delta.
Yep. And that's what our timing tools tell us whenever someone is on an outlap. So that is easy to tell.
William moves up to P5 after that lap with 130.3.
Nicely done. Thomas Jensen lapping but not improving. Marcus Lawrence just starting on their timed lap. You had a bad lap last time around. Probably made a big mistake somewhere. John Dalton also out there but not improving. Mark Woodford improving right now. He is 6 tenths up on his delta. As he is on the start-finish straight now. Let's see what happens when he crosses the line. And he moves into P4.
Moves ahead of his teammate as well, and actually is one of the only drivers now in the close to breaking the 1:29s. There's a few other drivers now also trying to improve their times. Lawrence being one of those. As he's trying to extend his lead a bit further. Ben Gebby is being strong once again. He is 0.2 up right now, going to the final sector. Will extend his lead. 29.4.
Andy McRae, for whatever reason, is still in the pit lane and hasn't set a lap. Thomas Johnson about halfway through his lap now. He heads down the corkscrew. He was 1/10 up. Seems to have lost some time through there.
Well, Wonsick currently improving quite a bit right now in his current lap as he moved up to P2.
Wow, that's a big improvement for one sync. John Dalton also improving by a couple tenths. As Thomas Jensen heads around the final corner. But he's showing no improvement on his delta right now, although it's really close between him and Mawson. So he could still overtake Mawson, and he doesn't.
Invalidated that. Time around, it's a bit not giving any warning until the very last second, but
Yeah. John Dalton's lost his improvement. Jordan Grant Smith improving slightly, but only by 1/10. Could still gain a couple of positions if he keeps it clean, although he's a bit off the track there and he's lost his improvement.
far.
And he abandons the lap. Still 5 minutes left in qualifying, so everyone should still be able to get a lap in. Andy McRae is also out there now, so he's trying to get a lap in after all. Mark Woodford improving as he heads around the final corner, a couple tenths up on his delta. Let's see where he goes when he crosses the line. And moves to P3. Thomas Jensen also improving and heading into the final corner.
Quickly on exit and loses a bit of time with that as well, so
Yeah, that seems to have cost him his improvement, although he still moves to P3 because it's so close for those few positions that even if it's not showing an improvement on our screens, it still could be. It will just be less than a tenth. but there was less than a tenth in between them, so he still gained a couple of positions. However, Marcus Lawrence unchallenged so far.
Okay, he's got quite a big advantage right now. No one quite now in these closing moments of the qualifying session have really mounted a challenge close enough to really possibly take it. Marcus has been very strong this season all throughout. Probably one of the either the second best or best car regularly. So he's definitely been a very strong performance this time out. I think he missed a race as well.
Marcus?
Yeah.
He was not here for the first race.
Yeah. So yeah, essentially his current point standing, as you said before, is exactly what he's going to have now, which effectively means he's going to take the title if he scores a point here above what Mike Stoffel currently has, which is what? He needs to score like 40 points?
40 points, yes.
40 points. My maths didn't fail me there. Just took a long time. So he's scored 40 points.
Calculating.
See the gears go in my head.
40.
Dun, dun, dun. So, he's got to get P6 or higher this race to win the championship, as Mawson does his best spinning impression. So yes, E6 or upwards. Which isn't hard with his current pace. It's going to take a disastrous start and him being held up by whoever's in P6.
Yeah, he seems to have the pace for it, just has to keep it on track.
But no one else is actually within striking distance, I don't think. No. Well, unless John Dalton gets a win. John Dalton gets a win, and Lawrence doesn't get... And he gets P6. John could do it.
I don't know what Dalton's drop round situation is like, though. I'll have a look into that.
That's always the span in the works. Obviously, Marcus Lawrence basically already had his drop round, so we know what his points are.
Yeah, John Dalton seems to have finished in the top 6 in every race, so he'll be losing a bunch of points through the drop rounds.
See, this drop as Charles Johnson pulled off. So timings are running out. People set times right now. As it does look, the grid is starting to be formed, and it's looking like most people can counter the challenge. As Jordan Wansig, Thomas Janssen both in the pit lane. Mark Whitford's out on track, but is down in this time. Brian Mawson down in his current time. John Dalton barely improving.
Yeah, well, Dalton just started his final time lap, so he still has a chance, but he's going to have to improve by a lot. He's nearly 8 tenths down right now.
As the checker flag will be waving, Mark Whitford starts one more final lap, just in time there.
Oh.
He's got one more chance. Dalton's currently improving, but he's 7 tenths back. But Lawrence is currently improving his current time, and he's on pole. Says that, starts losing it. Grant Smith's currently improving, but he is, what, 8
Mark
tenths
Whitford
down.
has abandoned his lap. He's returning to the pit lane.
So I think it's going to cement the top 4, as I believe someone's moved around.
Yep, Jordan Grant Smith just moved up to P6.
Yep, so that's his final position cemented. John Dalton, can he do anything about that? Not looking like it right now.
Yep, it's just him, Brunier, and Carlisle who are still out on track. John Dalton getting around the final corner now.
So Carlisle's literally the only car on track right now.
Brunier also not on track anymore, as Dalton stays in P7.
Carlisle will cross the checkered flag now as they're on the final straight, and this will be your qualifying finish. Lawrence will take pole position for the final time this season, followed by Jordan Wansink, Thomas Jansen, Mark Whitford, Brian Mawson, Jordan Grant-Smith, John Dalton, Madsen Miller, Robert Nygaard, and Parkin will be your top 10. And that is qualifying over for the final time of the season. So we're going to move to the race very shortly. So far, though, Lawrence clearly has an advantage.
Yeah, he is looking very good right now, over 2/10 faster than Jordan Wansink.
One thing to bear in mind in the
But
race.
of course, we'll have to say what race pace is like.
And he's been known to burn his tyres up in the race. So I happened at Brands Hatch. Happened a few times, actually. So, you know, it's not...
Exactly, the race is half an hour long, so... sorry, it's an hour long. I know what I'm doing.
Yeah, an hour
I'm
long.
very good at this.
Anyway,
So yeah, need to keep that up for an hour. It's just not easy.
He might spin off, and then he's down to P8, P9, and then bang, you know. He still had the championship, I'm pretty sure, but you know, you never know. I think only Dalton can have a chance at winning this championship at this point, mathematically, anyway. I think. I don't know how much drop round he loses though, so we will see. I guess. Let's currently use your grid on the screen right now. It's not how we normally do it, but I pressed the button wrong. So
I think with the drop round, he's actually out of contention.
Okay, so literally it's a case of can Marcus Lawrence score more than 60 points? There's a question for you since you did the website. What happens if people get two of exactly the same points?
What do you mean?
Well, if they both get, I don't know, 364 points, who gets the P1 then?
Whichever one the database decides to sort first will get P1 on the website.
So
Yeah, I think the admins would have to sort something out if that happens.
Game of rock, paper, scissors. The most scientific method of sorting this situation out is rock, paper, scissors.
Yeah. Or we can let SQL decide.
Random number generator. Yeah. So, 20 seconds left until the cars will get rolling underway as some of them pop off their air jacks for any last adjustments. Marcus on the inside line, Thomas on the outside line. KTM does struggle on the starts, does bog a bit, so it'll be interesting to see how that will go. So, Marcus begins the formation lap. Nice shot of nice burnout there to start finish line. As all the cars start to make their way off their grid positions. So obviously as normal, formation lap, full formation lap we're using. Last chance for any sort of takes and tire temperature in it or brake temperature or anything. Obviously quite a long run down to turn one from the start finish line. So quite an opportunity for people to outbrake each other, get some overtakes done early, or potentially hit each other. We'd rather not have that, but there you go. As the track condition is 24 degrees temperature with a 31 degree track temp. So the warmest it has been all season. It's quite a short formation lap around here, actually. Quite a short track in general. Look, only 2.2 miles long or 3.6 kilometers. As the cars will now start to go side by side with each other through the corkscrew. Probably not the best spot for it, but there you go. Marcus is dragging his brakes right now. You can see his brake lights on. So just trying to get some temperature into those brakes before turn 1. As they now head into the final corner. So our 20 car grid heads onto the final straight right now. As we prepare to get underway for the final round of the season. So across the start line, and we are go. A bit later than I thought as we get underway, and Brunswick has a poor start, gets already bogged down by 3 cars right now. That's trying to outbrake some of them. Grant Smith looking around the outside as well. And all he gets...
Oh, once it gets hit by, I think that's Dalton.
Yeah, gets tapped by Dalton and pushes Grant Smith out wide.
Other people have fallen. I think we're off the track there. Difficult for me to tell who they were at the moment.
Can't exactly. Parkin's fallen down to well, it looks like Victor Berlin, Sebastian Brunier, Carlswerda, and Parkin have all dropped down to the back of the grid of that start there, so not a great start for those lot.
In all that starting chaos, Thomas Jensen managed to make his way up to P2.
That's a good start by him. That's obviously, yeah, Brunswick bogged down a lot by the other cars. First lap. Oh, there's a car off at the final corner there. No, having cars having to break up as Distendo makes his way through that a lot. Moves up to P9. Yeah, definitely in that final corner. I don't know who exactly was involved.
Sebastian Brunier has dropped to the last position now. It seems so he's still side by side with someone else. I think that's Parkin. So I think something must have happened to him. He was at the back of the grid earlier, but not quite in last place.
So that's a very poor start for this race. The track's not the easiest one to make overtakes on, unless you get a bit brave. Quite easy to make a mistake and end your race, but quite hard to actually make an overtake. So, about taking risks around here. As Parkin makes a move onto Carlsvad right now, as Sebastian A bit wide at the corkscrew there. Not quite sure what happened.
Sofik going down around the outside of Dendo, but ending up off the track and losing a bunch of positions. Falling behind, I think behind Molliet.
Yeah, it's possibly under threat by James Butler there in the Ginetta.
Molliet trying to go down the inside of Valkenstein. Like he will fall behind Valkenstein again. As we have a very close back here between P9 and P12.
Yeah, this is all punched together right now. These cars obviously would expect a bit higher up the order. So they're probably a bit out of position. And obviously James Butler currently going 3 wide in the background there. No, not quite, but looking the Aston's looking down the inside a tiny bit.
Well, back in the top 5, it seems like 3 to 6 are still very close together as well. Brian Mawson currently leading that pack. Scott Dalton, Whitford and Wonsink behind him.
James Butler went off at the corkscrew there, overshot, didn't hit anything luckily, and obviously now there's tarmac on the runoff there. It's not quite as bad as it used to be when it used to be just like sand. It's just dirt. Have you ever seen Laguna Seca green? Because it does go green at some point in the year.
I think I have seen like an IndyCar onboard or something where it was green.
Sebastian Brunier in the pit lane right now, and I'm not so sure that's a retirement pit or a damage pit.
His car does look very damaged, so I'll keep an eye on it if he's repairing it or retiring.
Ooh, what happened there? Gee, some cars biff each other right now. What's the replay of that? That would be the right car to watch. Ooh. Anyway, Cray turned into the KTM there. It's a bit careless by him and drops down to second to last, so not where you really want to be.
Sebastian Brunier is back out though, so it seems like he was just getting that damage fixed.
Okay then, so let's see how he did. Oh, short lap here, so he's going to actually be behind a lot of the people who were racing earlier. There's sort of a train forming out as Mawson's dropped off the back of Dalton over the last lap.
Tom Jensen also still very close behind Marcus Lawrence. There's not to make moves or anything, but their pace seems to be not too far apart right now. Jensen actually a couple tenths faster than Lawrence on the last lap.
We're in second. Meanwhile, Mawson, who was earlier on very close behind Janssen, has now lost some time to him. Of course, the track being quite warm, it may affect some people who are a bit hard on the tyres more than normal. I will get up to temp a bit quicker and then stay at a temperature as Dalton is gaining on the back of Mawson's Aston Martin into turn 2.
Like he wants to go for the move, but he wasn't quite there yet.
on board right here. It'll be big, the BMW is, as Falkenstein's in the pit lane. So something happened to him, quite possibly, with damage.
Ooh, his car is looking very badly damaged at the front.
You watch what happened here. So he's heading into the corkscrew right now, 3 wide, and taps the Porsche and gets sent hard into the barrier there. I don't know which is the pink Porsche right now, but yeah, it's a hard hit right there. Gets underway again. 3 wide into the corkscrew is not something you really want to do.
No.
Yeah, his car is quite damaged. He's struggling to make the corners right now. Dendo gets a bit tagged right there. Well, so...
He's still very close from P3 to P6. Looks like Jordan Wansink is managing to close back up a little bit. Will Dalton try to go for the move on Mawson here around the outside? Looks like he's going for it, but it hasn't quite worked.
Get some traction now on exit. Mawson will just have to hug the inside line, really. As Mawson hops the curb. Tiny bit. Gets a bit of air as Wansink is right behind this lot now as well. As they're going side by side now. Mawson definitely struggling now with any sort of traction or grip or anything right now, as Dawson looking all over him right now, looking for a possible overtake. Looks down the
Mawson's
inside
got
of
his
it.
mirrors full of BMWs right now as they head into the corkscrew.
Jolson was looking there. He was looking right there. He's going to have a good run now through the exit of the corkscrew on the inside line. Can Mawson hang it around the outside? Oh, they barely touched there. Mawson will stay ahead, so some hard defending going on. Trying to do anything he can to keep his car ahead. This will be backing up now into Grant Smith as well, who is closing the gap down a bit. So Mawson definitely has lost some pace. As the 2 teammates of Dalton and Whitford have sort of brake check each other there as not to hit each other. Just behind, so.
As Lawrence has slightly extended the gap to Jensen now. Jensen seems to be struggling a bit.
Definitely losing quite a bit of time this lap, nearly a second, so something has happened this time around.
Yep. Lost half a second to Lawrence last lap as well. Yeah, this lap is just looking pretty slow for him. Not sure what's going on. Maybe just trying to save the tires.
He's got a bit of front end damage or something. I can't quite tell looking at his car.
I don't think he has any damage. His car looks fine.
Mawson once again under attack by John Dalton, who's looking around the outside of turn 2. Getting forced deep, and his teammate going to have to go him as well, but behind. Gotta be a bit careful right now. Dalton's forced a tiny bit wide.
Jensen seems to have picked the pace up again a bit.
Ooh, John Dodds down the inside.
This lap.
Down the inside. Got a better line through the corkscrew there, and we'll manage to get in front of Mawson. So the change for position for P3 has occurred. Let's see if Mawson can try and do anything back. He breaking away, John, but he is slowly making a bit of a gap. No, got a bit of no man's land right now. Parkin's going around the outside of Distendo for P E10 right now. Looking at a long way round though. David Butler's looking to take the person off after Parkin's forced a bit wide. Hits the curb a bit. Butler goes. Oh!
It's Parkin.
It's Parkin. Parkin's got another set of scrapes in his car. Seems to be
Butler
going.
loses a bunch of positions, drops down to P16 from P12.
It's a little mistake there. There's a wheel on the gravel, sand, whatever it is. I don't remember, and that's cost him as Mawson has dropped down.
Yeah. Having a look at the replay now, and bit of a switch on the gravel. Oh, that's a really weird off.
Yeah, quick watch of it right now on our replay. He's going down the hill. In the last few corners. Oh, it's getting very wide there.
I hit the 30-second replay, and that's really to the right moments.
Cuts
you
back
see braking into the last corner as something goes very wrong. It's a really weird off.
I think he's loaded too much weight on that one side of the car, and just, you know, weight balance was all over the place. Last second change, either that he snatched the brakes or something, I don't know. I guess he's going to run ABS. I don't see why he wouldn't run ABS. That puts him behind Grant Smith. As now the two BMW teammates are going to have a go at it as well. Grant Smith! Ooh! Some cars are losing quite a bit of traction right now. It doesn't seem like...
Yeah. Ooh, Mawson having to take avoiding action as well.
Victor Berlin's all over the back of Parkin now as well, so looking to go around the outside of the final corner. We're probably going to switch back right now. Doesn't really have the traction to do so. Yeah, a bunch of little mistakes going on right now at the stage in the race. Only a quarter of the race gone. So you don't expect that many issues to happen at this stage, but looks like we are, as Parking is very deep in at turn 2. Does allow Victor Berlin to somewhat get a position for free. So Victor Berlin moves up into P10 now. Little Dento's dropped down to P16 as well. So a few people having more mistakes cropping up. We can't see everything. Don't have a race director, unfortunately. Sometimes it'd be nice. As Valiant Muller is behind Robert Nygaard right now, so currently fighting for position. As for P8.
Oh, John Dalton goes wide. and Mark Whitford overtakes him. Let's see if Jordan Watson can try anything now. Don't think he's quite close enough. But yeah, Dalton loses a position to his teammate there by going wide at the final corner.
Yeah, no mistake. More mistakes cropping up as well at this stage in the race. You don't really expect it, but obviously, I feel that track is catching some people out as Thomas Jansen's still losing time to the leader. Doesn't look like he has quite the endurance pace to keep up with Lawrence. I'm saying Lawrence might not drop off at any second. Does have a 6-second buffer to Mark Whitford behind, as Valentine Miller is going to have a go at Nygaard again as they've closed the gap once more. I don't know. To me, the driver ratings are just very arbitrary. I'm thinking right now, we've got a bunch of silvers and everyone else is pro. Anyway, so Dalton is losing time to his teammate of Whitfield Herrera, so it doesn't seem like Dalton was probably one of the slower cars in that pack, despite leading it the majority of the time so far, so obviously doesn't have quite the pace there as the gap to the leader extends again. But like, Dalton doesn't have quite enough pace to actually make a move on Nygaard. Keep close, but not really get much done. Saying that, you're getting a very good run through Corkscrew. Yeah, how comically small the Alpine is until you look at it compared to the Aston. It's a tiny little thing. Parkin is losing some more positions right now. He's now down in P13, so he might be having an issue with his current car, as he was P10 not that long ago.
Jones dropped quite far behind his teammate now. Over 2 seconds. One sync right behind him as well. We have a yellow flag out. Looks like Valentin Molliet was probably involved in that. Potentially Robert Nygaard as well. I'm just looking at a replay of these two. No, seems like everything went fine between them. They were just losing time because they were racing.
That's not generally the case. As soon as drivers into defend, you just lose time. Change it to different lines.
Mark Webb's lost a lot of time, so he was, and his car's looking very damaged as well, so I'm guessing he was more the cause of that yellow flag.
Yeah, this does seem... I'm still surprised how tricky people are finding it right now, you know. I personally don't have much of an issue with this track outside of iRacing, where if you touch anything, your car flies into a wall. That's more the Sim's fault than the track's fault. I'm still quite surprised they're going to say it's not awfully popular, given how long it's been around in racing games. To be fair, one of the earliest tracks to appear in a race game, with Gran Turismo, I don't know, it's not a staple of sim racing, I find.
I do really enjoy driving it. It's just maybe not the most forgiving track for racing.
Might be the case. Some tracks are bores to drive but great to race. Some tracks are the complete opposite. I think Monaco, as controversial, I think Monaco is not a good racetrack. It's a good qualifying track. The qualifying is the best part of the weekend. But
I don't think that's a very controversial opinion.
Some people will say like, "Oh, how dare you select Monaco?" You know, people are very defensive over Monaco. So Bathurst gets away with it. It's got two massive straights. If you have Bathurst half of it, you can't overtake on. Some tracks are great, but some tracks are, well, bad to drive but great to race. You know, I'm trying to think of them now. Well, not many actually. Most of the boring tracks to drive are also bad to race as well. To be fair.
Talent and Molliet is right close behind Robert Nygaard. Might be trying to go for a move here. Not quite.
Just doing what he needs to do to keep in front. There's a baguette box. That's what the team calls it. I didn't say that. Good run out the final corner there. Looks to the outside. Can he keep the speed going? He's going to go the long way around. And yeah, it has to concede for now. A bit of defensive driving by Nygaard.
Notice Thomas Jensen had a really bad lap last time around.
Definitely struggling with pace this stage in the race, as we are 3 minutes away from halfway.
Marcus Lawrence leading by 8.1 seconds over Thomas Jensen in P2, and then we have Mark Whitford in P3. John Dalton in P4, and then closely behind him is Jordan Wansink in P5.
At this rate, I'm not going to jinx it at all. Well, I am going to jinx it now by saying it, but this will be in a very long time. A series not won by Janssen or Stoffmill. Also the second time Lawrence has ever won a championship for the OVRC. His last one was all the way back in OVRC GT Series Season 4.
Yeah, back in the race room days.
Yeah.
Let's see, when exactly was that?
2018.
At the end of 2018. And now he's about to win again at the end of 2020.
So, you know, they're going to take a break for this, take a break until 2022 and then win again.
Exactly.
That's an 8-round season. Remember we did 8-round seasons? Times are different then. Times are very different now. Obviously, moving to ACC. A lot of new faces as well since then. Some familiar ones, you know. Lawrence is still there. Jansen's still there. Mark Whitford's still here. Dalton's still here. Wanzig was there as well. He was in one of well, he's in the winning team that season. Lawrence and Wanzig were the same team. They were in Nissans together. Tom Pottage, who's been a bit in a mess recently, is also still racing. Victor Berlin. Descendo. Yeah, quite a lot of people still active within the OVRC, still racing. Which is great to see, you know?
Yeah.
That's back when it's a 25-point system before, you know, half the field didn't score like any points. Times are different, but right now, Moya is still trying to get past Robert Nygaard.
Yep, and Jordan Wansink is still very close behind John Dalton. It's been that way for a while, as we are halfway through the race now.
Ooh, well, it goes a bit sideways there. Lose a bit of time out of that.
As Dalton seems to be slow at the final corner and has been overtaken by Jordan Wansink, although they are still very close. So could Dalton have a go at him and try and take that position back? They are heading into turn 1, or is it turn 2?
Turn 2.
Now. And looks like Wansink will stay ahead for now. So Dalton having another go. Down the inside here. Again, not quite.
Still going around the long way.
They're still side by side. And looks like Dalton will stay ahead for now.
Also on the inside now in the final corner, and we'll get in front. He will sustain that, but we'll want to have a go now. He has quite enough speed, so it does look like Dalton will not lose position in the end, but will lose a lot of time. Saying that goes very deep into turn 2. Allows Bonzi to come right back at him. They're having a good fight right now. As Muller, it's also very close to Nygaard right now. He's still behind him, so didn't make the overtake there as Mawson saw his own right now. Going there.
Molliet. I was looking down the inside of Nygaard there. As they were going on turn 2, but didn't manage to make that one stick, so Nygaard stays ahead. Wansink thinking about having a go at John Dalton into the corkscrew potentially. Yep, tries to go down the inside, doesn't quite make it.
Sec's looking still right behind him, so he's not giving up yet. So the BMW you can see here just pulls away in the straight. It's not as good as it used to be. I believe there has been some BOP to it. Yeah, it's all. Definitely struggling a tiny bit hit going on. Brunswick takes a bit of a tighter line through there. Get very close up. One Dalton then compromises his line a tiny bit. So still placing his car in threatening position, so obviously trying to see if Dalton makes a mistake, but Dalton doesn't seem to be hesitating too much, as Mert is now in front of Nygaard. So to the swap positions as Mark Webb has closed on Falkenstein right towards the back end of the field.
Seem to have had one retirement. That will have been Andy McRae.
Yep. Involved with him. As Nygaard's in front of Mulliot again. We have swap positions once more.
So we're over halfway through the race, and there's still a few tight battles going on. As Molliet looking very racy right now. Potentially trying to go down the inside of Nygaard into the next corner. No, he won't. Stay behind.
Fashion likes to warn the lap car up ahead. Don't get in the way as they dart off the track to try and keep out of the way.
Victor Berlin also has Kieran Parkin. Oh no, wait, he doesn't. I'm looking at some cars who are on a different lap than him. Never mind, he's not waiting for anything. So it's just between Nygaard and Mollies right now. And also still between Dalton and Wonsink. I think Mark Whitford might be slowly catching up to Thomas Jensen by now, as Jensen is now 12.1 seconds behind Marcus Lawrence.
Sorry about OBS has decided to disconnect and reconnect. I don't know why. Just decided to. As you do. As you do, you know. I think this has a flag somewhere on track. I don't know who exactly that's related to right now.
It seems to be April Carlsford,
They have.
B13, who has gone off the track. I think she's probably just ended up putting a wheel into the gravel on the outside there and spinning it around.
We have 2 disconnects now. We've got 18 cars. James Butler is gone. So that explains all of that. Now I got defending down the inside now. Lawrence has lost one.
Ooh. Nygaard, a bit twitchy there. But will have cost him some speed, I think.
Yeah, he's going to be under threat now into the corkscrew. We'll hold the inside line, which is going to try and make a cutback work. But I got a bit too much in the way there for anything to really happen. Sebastian Bruno's closed up to Carla as Wolkenstein's all behind Webb. There's a change of positions at the back towards there. Wanzig is once again behind Dalton once more. It's not exactly broken away. There's a gap ahead of him. It's gone to 4 seconds to his teammate. There's a little bit of wiggle there. Like Dalton might have let Wanzig have a go at him. Will take defensive line. Ooh, a bunch of them struggling for traction. Feel like tyres have gone up a bit. It's 20 minutes to go, so quite a bit of time left in the race for anything to happen, really.
Marcus Lawrence seems to be losing some pace right now. So I think, let me keep an eye on it again. Yeah, Jensen is slowly catching up to Lawrence right now, but there's under 19 minutes left in the race. So we'll have to see if that's going to actually mean anything for Jensen, as the gap between them is quite large right now.
Yeah, it's going to be quite a lot more time lost as Jansen's also losing time as well. So not like anyone can really rest easy yet.
So one thing still very close to Dalton. Molly is still very close to Nygaard. Jordan Grant Smith slowly closing up to Ryan Mawson, it seems.
Once it cuts around to the outside, as he's trying to go out and Dalton again. Dalton dives down to the inside.
Ooh, Robert Nygaard makes a mistake in the corkscrew. And Valentin Mollier gets ahead.
Oh, outbrakes himself a bit too deep there and cuts over and allows Mollier to get through. Smaller mistake there, but he's still right behind the back of him, so he might have another go now in the final corner. Start, finish straight.
Mawson and Grant Smith are getting pretty close to Wonsink and Dalton now.
Yeah, as Noga's got back in front of Muller. I've seen that pace difference is fairly close to each other. It is definitely not got quite enough pace to make a gap, and Nygaard seems to be a bit better at keeping him behind. Well, it goes a bit wide there and loses some time while having wheels stuck on the gravel.
Well, Marcus Lawrence seemed to have picked up the pace a bit again. And now doing very similar pace to Thomas Jansen. So the gap between them is staying about the same as it is now. Which is still 11.2 seconds. We have under 15 minutes left now. And Mawson is getting very close to Wonsink, under a second now.
These lot fighting each other is drawing each other closer together. Not exactly what you want to happen.
Oh, Mawson goes a bit wide onto the gravel. There's a bit of time there. And a bit deep into the corkscrew. They're going to allow Grant Smith to make a move. Doesn't look like it will. Though he is very close. Maybe into the next corner. We'll see. There seems to be more going on up ahead too. So if all that's just happened, the gap between Wonsink and Mawson has extended quite a bit. Down to 2.5 seconds again.
Time is slowly running out for some of these. Wonsink, ooh, gets very close to the back of Dalton just now. Has to get sort of stamp on the brakes a bit harder than normal. You avoid Does seem that though, like Lawrence has quite an advantage though at the front. There is a few back markers in the way now. Similar sort of story to Moet and Nygaard as going on with Dalton Wanzig, where cars getting close but not really able to get past each other.
Yep, same story with Mawson and Grant Smith.
Yeah, so Dalton's definitely slower because he's losing a second right now. And Wanzig is managed to holding together, so Wanzig will tend to be just more straight line speed right now. It's supposed to be really frustrating for Wanzig as he's basically dependent on that toe to get past. And while he's got slightly better brakes, he's got to hope that Dalton makes a mistake in the final 9 minutes.
They've got a back marker ahead of them as well. It's the only other KTM in the field.
Ooh, Dan looks looking down. He is desperately trying to make a move happen now as Backmark gets out of the way. Wanzig looking a bit desperate right now. Trying to get the move done. Millet's very close to the back of Nygaard now as well. Not enough eyes at once to see everything. As Mark Webb's behind Sebastian Bruni and Fulkerson's behind Carlisle, so a lot of stuff going on right now as Mark Webb gets in front of Sebastian Bruni into turn 2. We're going to do the cutback now and has a go at it. What's going on? Camera cut away, has to back out, so Mark Webb pulls in front. The Carlisle Fulkerson fight has just ended as Carlisle is now down to P18. Mullet's made a mistake. He's 1.7. Oh, no mind, the timing's gone back to 0.8. So an error by him has cost him some time, obviously, at some point during the last few laps.
Sanson is losing time to Marcus Lawrence again. The gap now 12.8 seconds.
Wanzig looking around the outside again, gets a very good exit. Back market is in the way, has to go the long way around at the final corner. Dalton's forced onto the curb, but Wanzig has to go wide to avoid. Dalton gets ahead once again as Grant Smith is also on the offensive onto Ryan Mawson. They're alongside each other down the start finish straight as well. It's all a bit close right now. Just Dendo's in the Camaro up ahead, which will either play into advantage of some people or disadvantage, or might just get out of the way completely. As they pull over to the side and allow P4 and P5 through. P6 and 7 will have to wait their turn. And Dalton makes no mistake and allows Wanzig through, and Wanzig will now be ahead into the corkscrew. Dalton will have to be a bit careful now. Wanzig is a bit...
Oh, Wanzig makes a mistake in the middle of the corkscrew, and Dalton is back in front.
Just a bit deep on the brakes there, trying to defend his line, and swatch back right in the front. Dalton will get ahead once again. Just 5 minutes to go. Mawson comes diving down past Dendo there. Grant Smith now to go at him as well. No, Grant Smith's a bit too far back for that to happen, as Dendo, that all is closed the gap to Dendo and Carswell as well, so it's a fight down in P13, a fight for P6, and a fight for P4 right now. All within about, what, 5 seconds of track. I don't think there's much more that can be had, as Mulliet and Nygaard have switched positions again, so Mulliet's finally in front of Nygaard. As Nygaard's some front end damage as he goes off.
Oh.
Ooh, Victor Burns coming through now as well. No reason why that damage happened. Obviously before the corkscrew, before 30 seconds, I think. At some point, Nygaard's had a meeting with a wall or something. Not entirely.
It looks like it.
Not entirely sure when that happened. I need to drink some more water.
Ooh, Berlin just off the road a bit, but gets ahead of Nygaard.
So Nygaard's race is unfortunately all falling apart now. Wanzig is trying to still get past Dalton as Mawson's now behind him, and Grant Smith all together right now as Mawson makes a mistake and allows Grant Smith through. Mawson deep on the brakes once again in the final corner, and Grant Smith sails on past. As Dendo is also got positions now as well with April, so another change for position.
There's a very lapped car, Adam Carlisle, in between this battle again.
We're getting a bit exciting now towards the end.
Yeah, lots going on right now. Again, because of the nature of the track, it's hard for anyone to really make an attempt to overtake.
Everyone bunched up again. The people who had issues early on in the race have caught back up as Grant Smith's off the track behind as well. Doesn't get passed by Mawson, but Mawson's now closer once again. To the corkscrew they go. As Grant Smith shoots off and bounces.
Can he keep the car under control? Looks like he does.
As Mawson will slip in front, so there's another position change going on. John Dalton is now defending from Wanzig again. Worth noting, Mark Whitford has not pulled that far ahead since for a while. He's so hovering at 4 seconds. I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing. It's only 1 minute to go, under 2 minutes to go now in this race, so not a long time. Solvex goes to parking as Falkenstein's off the course there at turn 2. Not really sure where Marcus Lawrence is right now. Outside of a head somewhere.
I'll have a look. He is currently going down the corkscrew.
So there'll be one more lap after this from, I can imagine.
Yep, looks like that will be the case. Lawrence heads into the final corner now.
So yeah, it'll be one more lap to go.
Yep, as he is just about to cross the line to start the final lap.
As Bonzig cutting the corkscrew a bit there. And it all gets very close to the back of Dalton there as well, so definitely cars are struggling to hold their lines, hold any traction. As Grant Smith is looking to remove a Mawson, Dalton hops over the curb and allows the KTM to close the gap now. As they now start their final lap as well, so not long to go. One more lap to make anything happen. Ooh, Grant Smith goes a bit sideways in the background there. As the checker flag will be waiting now for Marcus Lawrence. As he is 30 seconds roughly away from winning.
Yep, Lawrence just going down the hill.
As he got past, I believe that is Parkin there. He's got one final corner to go through. Marcus Lawrence will take the checkered flag for P1.
And Dalton very close as they head into the corkscrew again. Doesn't look like there's any moves happening though. Although, one thing trying to go down the inside there.
Has to cut back to the outside again, unfortunately. Dalton holds the inside line. Come through right now. Thomas Janssen will come home in P2 just now as well. One final corner for everyone to make something happen. Once it gets alongside, but not enough grip to make it happen. John Dalton comes home in P4. Wonzig P5. Mawson P6. Grant Smith P7.
Molliet is in P8. Robert Nygaard is down in P10 after what happened to his car. Looks very damaged still. So managed to finish the race with all that damage. Molliet just heading down the corkscrew. Got Victor Berlin 3 seconds behind him. So they will be the last to cross the line.
Yeah, and with that win, Lawrence will secure his second ever OVRC title. And I don't think, unless he gets penalised for like how many points, I don't think he can lose it. As they will cross the line. Bullet P8, Victor Berlin P9, and that is your final grid. Has actually got DSQ'd. When did that happen?
Yeah, he did. I only just noticed that. So
it's right at the end.
Why.
He got right at the end with DSQ'd. As it's happened, as Victor crossed the line, he got DSQ'd. But that is the final round of the season. That was Laguna Seca. How was that, Erwin, for a race?
It was a great race. Lots happening throughout the field. Not too much drama. So I think a great race to end the season with. So if you enjoyed the race as much as we did, we would very much appreciate it if you could click the like button and subscribe to the channel to catch our upcoming races. Or, well, for now, we only have one more race planned, which is the season finale of the GT3 Series at Barcelona next week. And after that, we'll see. We don't have any plans yet, but I'm sure they will come soon.
Yep. And, well, the possible plans after Christmas time to have a bit of a break. Maybe some special events will show up. We don't know. Maybe. We've some planning to do. Thank you everyone who did tune in for the season of GT4, our first GT4 and ACCCC. And hey, hopefully you all did enjoy it in the end. Obviously, all the VODs will stay up. Results on the website. If you're interested, join the Discord, blah, blah, blah. And yeah, until then, stay safe and we will see you next time.
Goodbye.